everyone, this is Anjali Sharma and today I have with me very lovely and well-known author Trisha Das. Hi Trisha, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So Trisha is the author of very popular book Ms Draupadi Kuru After the Pandavas, which was released in 2016 and was very well received. She's also written Mahabharata Re-imagined, and her latest book Kama's Last Sutra is in my hands. It's just been out. Congratulations, Trisha.
Thanks.
And Trisha is not just writing fiction, she has written over 40 film documentaries, and she's also given us famous books like The Art of TV Interview and How to Write a Documentary Script. That's an amazing portfolio, Trisha. Lovely having you with us.
Thank you for having me.
So the first thing that I would like to know, Trisha, and I'm sure all our viewers out here want to know, what is it about the female mythological or historical characters which fascinates you? What is it about them that acts as a muse?
Well, I think as a modern woman myself, I look back at all the role models that we have in history and mythology, and I see a huge problem is that all the women are either dutiful wives or really good mothers, and they're all victims. Something's been done to them.
Yeah.
And as a modern woman myself, I don't identify with that. I don't feel like that's me, and that my history and my mythology as an Indian represents who I am as an Indian woman, as a modern Indian woman. So I think, in a sense, I like to look for characters that I can identify with, and women like me, strong, independent characters that speak to us,
Wonderful, wonderful, Trisha. So the way you portray these characters, in a quirky, engrossing narrative, and giving it a completely different, so history, myth with romance, it's totally enjoyable and commendable. So I would like to know, do these characters debate in your mind as to who gets the second coming?
I think they very much come to me. I don't go to them. I'm very interested in history, mythology, religion, anthropology. All of these things are my passion. I read a lot.
Right.
And I think these women come to me and say stories. It sounds so pompous to say that. These women come to me and they say, rewrite our stories. No, it's not like that. But I do feel the need to do so. Yeah, absolutely. They come to me very much.
Very nice. So I would like to share that during the span of writing Draupadi Kuru, Trisha embraced motherhood. She became mother to two. So I would just like to know, since many of our writers at Women's Web are like young writers, and they have that ambition of getting published authors. So I would like to know, how was this journey? Combining all the challenges and then getting out the book.
Well, I think every woman knows that motherhood takes up a lot of time and a lot of effort. And I remember I had this one moment where I was sitting in my living room, my laptop was next to me. I had one baby walking around in a walker, and I had a toddler who was fighting with him because he had taken a toy from his older brother. And I sort of just looked at them, and I looked at my laptop, and I was like, this is life. Life is never going to change.
Yeah.
Either I get my act together and I do this, or I'm going to be doing this for the rest of my life. So I can't change how things are. I can't change the fact that there's going to be distractions.
Right.
I can't stop life. I can't wait for inspiration as much as I would like to. You just have to get on with it,
Actually, yes. Very nice. So talking about your latest book, Kama's Last Sutra. So tell us something about writing this book. What has been the inspiration behind your protagonist Tara's journey? So how did this book come into inception?
Well, time travel historical romances are actually fairly popular in the West.
Okay.
And I love reading them. So one of the very popular ones is the Outlander series by Diana Gabaldon.
Yeah.
And it has sort of started the genre. It's still carrying on. Now it's on various TV channels and all of that stuff. It's a best-selling series. And I remember reading this like over a decade ago, long before the TV stuff ever happened. And I remember thinking, I would love to read something like this, but with Indian characters in an Indian context.
Right.
And nobody wrote it. So I said, all right, I'm going to give it a shot and I'm going to write it myself.
Very nice. So tell us more about Tara and her journey. What is she up to?
Well, Tara is like a lot of modern young Indian women.
Okay.
She's strong, she's independent, she has a very strong identity in terms of her career, in terms of what she wants out of life. But at the same time, she's struggling to balance her vulnerability, her femininity, her sexuality. You're supposed to be a strong woman with everything in control as a feminist. When you say I'm a feminist, that means I've got it all,
Right.
I've got everything sorted, I don't have the right to feel vulnerable. I don't have the right to feel desirable or really feminine. If I want to be feminine, why can't I be both? Why can't I be a feminist and be feminine and be vulnerable and really want a man to look at me in a particular way, So she's sort of struggling with that she feels like she needs to keep up appearances. And at the same time, there is this part of herself that she can't ignore. So I wanted to write her because she is very much like many other modern young women these days.
Yeah, and I'm sure like many young women are looking forward to reading your book.
I hope
so. What is the timing of the book, Trisha? In the sense that, we are at a time when women are coming out, keeping the shame behind, which has been the result of patriarchy over the years, and talking about sexuality, owning it, and many writers are also kind of giving a voice to it. So what do you feel about this changing literary landscape?
Well, I've had so many authors come to me and say, I'm so embarrassed to write sex scenes. Authors are embarrassed, and the fact is, everybody is embarrassed because they've been conditioned to be embarrassed.
Yes.
When, as a young girl or a young boy, when you're born as a toddler, what are the messages that your parents are giving you? As a girl, you're told, don't touch yourself, it's dirty. Don't go out and have sex. Wait for your Prince Charming who will come on a white horse, marry you, then he'll know what to do. And the fact is, you meet your Prince Charming and you realize he doesn't know what to do. He knows what to do with himself because he's had years and years and years of practice.
Right.
But guess what? Your parents told you that it was a bad thing. You've had no practice at all. So you don't know who you are, and you thought that the man would know.
Correct.
And the fact is, men don't. So I think it's important to talk about sexuality not in a shameless way, but in a shame-free way. Because shame is very much a shackle that women, obviously in India but worldwide as well, carry around with them. That what will my in-laws think, and what will my children think? And will people stop speaking to me? Will I be ostracized? And it's time, I think, we let go of all of that.
Yes, very nice, Trisha. So, like when you attempt, history, this is facts, and then you bring on your imagination. So, like, how do you seek out a balance?
Well, I think the reader generally is very intuitive. So when they read a book like this, they automatically know what is fiction and what is fact. I try as far as possible to stick to the facts when it comes to anything within the historical context. Obviously, and you understand as a reader that the time travel is fiction. There will be some fictional characters. But the fact is, most of the characters in this book, whether it's Vididhar or his queen or the courtiers or the prince or the princess or the priest, all of them are actual characters that did exist and we have records of them. But yes, Tara is fictional. And Tara plays a very important role in that, is to look at historical fact and what happened in history from a modern perspective as well. So the reader understands that. When you read it, you will intuitively know what is fact and what is fiction.
Absolutely. And like your filmmaking career, Trisha, you've written 40 documentaries.
Well, I've written and directed.
40 documentaries, and you've won the national award also. So can you tell us, like, does that experience of writing documentaries help you out when you bring about the fiction?
Very much,
very
much, yes.
Okay.
As a filmmaker, one of the very important things you learn very early on in your career is that there's a lot of money at stake. And so when you go into a shoot, for instance, there are lots of people involved, there's a lot of equipment involved, there's a lot of money. So you need to be prepared.
Absolutely.
You need to not be able to, you need to go on set and then not try and figure out what to do. You need to go there knowing everything already. And And so there's a sort of over-preparedness that you have to come with.
Process.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think I bring that process very much to my writing. Before I start writing a book, I'm extremely prepared to write it, so I know exactly what's going to happen.
Okay.
And I'm ruthless with myself in that sense.
So, Trisha, like any other authors in mythology that Trisha loves to read?
Oh, so many. Where do I start? My very good friend Krishna Uday Shankar has written a few very nice mythology books. So I read a lot of her work. Chitra Devakarni, who obviously wrote a lot about Draupadi Pratibha Ray as well. These are the books that I read to find out about Draupadi. There's so many. Where do I start? A lot of them. Yeah.
Okay, great. So just as we wrap up, Trisha, I would like to know what's next after Kama Sutra.
So my last book, Ms Draupadi Kuru, actually, surprise, has a sequel.
Wow.
So in the next book, which is called The Mister's Kuru, I'll be bringing the Pandavas to Delhi. So her 5 husbands are going to be joining her, and it's going to be a lot of fun and a lot of surprises.
Wow. So Trisha, thank you so much. I'm just wishing Kama's last sutra a very, very big success. Thank you so much, and please like and subscribe Women's Web so that you keep getting updates like this interview. Thank you so much.
Thank you.